This is Karen, and she's pregnant with my child. So, I want a divorce. Jennifer, please accept Mark's decision. There's no point in you staying together any longer. Ignoring my reaction, his mother continued. Mark suffered because you couldn't have children. He needs a new family. Then Mark smirked and said to me, "Get out, you infertile defect." His words were the final blow for me. I decided I didn't need to show any mercy to them. Taking a deep breath, I replied calmly. All right, Mark. I accept your decision. My name is Jennifer, and I'm a 24-year-old working in a restaurant. It was a day when the spring sunlight was gently shining that I met my husband. I was working as a barista at a small cafe in downtown, and he was a regular customer there. The first time he came to the cafe was one weekday afternoon. I remember he looked a bit tired in his suit. Hi. Have you decided on your order? Yes, I'll have a black coffee and a berry tart, please. He continued to visit the cafe, and I gradually started chatting with him over the counter. He told me he worked for a big advertising agency. Was today busy for you as well? Yeah. Lots of meetings. But I feel relaxed when I come here. Your coffee is special, Jennifer. I'm happy to hear that. He stopped by the cafe almost every day, and I began to look forward to his visits. Gradually, we started talking about our work, hobbies, and future dreams. His serious gaze and gentle voice gradually made me open up to him. Jennifer, what do you usually do on weekends? Recently, I've been coming up with new recipes for the cafe or spending time with friends. What about you, Mark? I work a lot too, but I like going to museums or movie theaters occasionally. Would you like to go together sometime? His invitation filled my heart with surprise and joy. Yes. I'd love to go with you. From that day, we started meeting outside the cafe as well. He took me to museums, movie theaters, and lovely restaurants. Every time, he brought new discoveries and joy, and our time together became precious to me. One day, when he came to the cafe, he had a different expression than usual. He seemed a bit nervous. Jennifer, today is a special day. What's going on? Actually, I wanted to give you this. He handed me a beautiful necklace. I was moved to tears with surprise and emotion. Thank you, Mark. I'm really happy. Jennifer, you're special to me. I want to be with you, so will you be my girlfriend? Thank you. I'm so happy. That's how we started dating. After that, our relationship progressed smoothly. About a year and a half after we started dating, he finally proposed to me. On our anniversary, he reserved a table at a fancy restaurant and presented me with a ring. Jennifer, will you marry me? Yes. Of course, I'd be delighted. I think I was at the peak of happiness at that moment. I was truly happy to be engaged to him. With his kindness and fun personality, I was sure we'd have a happy married life. After we decided to get married, the next step was to introduce each other to our families. He was looking forward to introducing me to his parents, but I was a bit nervous. I was particularly curious about what his mother would be like. Jennifer, let's go to my parents' house next weekend. I want you to meet them. All right, I'm a little nervous, but I need to greet them properly. And before I knew it, the weekend had arrived. His parents' house was in the suburbs, a bit away from the city, with a large garden and a spacious living room. When we arrived, the front door opened, and his father greeted us. Mark, welcome. Nice to meet you, Jennifer. I'm Mark's father. Nice to meet you, I'm Jennifer. Thank you for having me. His father greeted me with a gentle smile, which quickly eased my nerves. However, his mother, who appeared afterward, looked at me with a slightly stern gaze. I'm Mark's mother. Please come in. We were shown into the living room, and we started chatting over tea. His father asked me about my work and hobbies with great interest, and I appreciated his kindness. So, Jennifer, you work as a barista. That's a wonderful job. Thank you. It's tough every day, but I find it rewarding. However, I felt that his mother was keeping a bit of distance from me. She didn't talk much and seemed to be observing me closely. Eventually, she spoke to me directly. Jennifer, how do you plan to handle housework and your job after getting married? Well, I intend to continue working and do my best with the housework as much as possible. I see. But housework and raising children are very demanding. Are you sure you can manage? There was a bit of a sting in her words, and I was unsure how to respond at that moment. But then Mark gently supported me by placing his hand on my shoulder. Don't worry, we're gonna be a married couple. We'll support each other and overcome anything together. Though his mother seemed slightly dissatisfied, she simply replied, all right. As dinner preparations progressed, I offered to help his mother, but she didn't seem too welcoming. It's fine, you just sit. I'll handle it. Still, I insisted on helping and took the initiative to carry the finished dishes to the table. In moments like these, not helping wasn't an option. I hoped his mother would open up to me a little. During dinner, while everyone was eating, his father changed the topic. So, how did you meet Jennifer? I started going to this cafe regularly where Jennifer worked, and we gradually got to know each other more every day. That's a lovely story. Jennifer seems kind and like a good listener. Exactly, I found myself sharing my worries with her. I'm glad someone like her is joining our family. Jennifer, please take care of Mark. Yes, Father. Thank you so much. After dinner, we relaxed in the living room, but his mother continued to keep a cold attitude towards me. Every time I spoke, she would respond briefly, as if testing me. As we were about to leave, his father kindly spoke to me. Jennifer, please feel free to visit anytime. You're welcome as family. Thank you. Father, Mother. I greeted them, but his mother only said, goodbye. We then left the house and got into the car. In the car, Mark held my hand tightly. Jennifer, my mom can be a bit strict, but she'll come to understand you. I'm here for you. It's okay. Thank you, Mark. I'll do my best. With that, we took the first step towards marriage. Though there were still challenges with his mother, I resolved to face this new family with Mark's support. Next, we were to introduce our families to each other. On the day both our parents would meet for the first time, I was nervous but also excited with anticipation. The meeting between our families progressed in a warm atmosphere, and both my parents and his parents took a liking to each other. I also felt his mother slowly warming up to me. Seeing our families converse amicably reassured me. Let's become a wonderful family together. All right then. And then the long-awaited wedding day arrived. Under the bright sky, we pledged our eternal love, surrounded by many friends and family. Holding his hand, I felt true happiness. Jennifer, from today, we're husband and wife. Yes, Mark. Let's continue to work hard together. After the wedding, we went on our honeymoon. We visited a beautiful beach resort overseas. The place, far from everyday life, was so wonderful that I think it became a memory for a lifetime. Jennifer, look. This sunset is really beautiful. Yes, it is. The sunset looks the most beautiful when I'm with you, Mark. After the honeymoon, we started our new life together. At first, we lived in a small apartment, but every day with him was filled with joy. In the mornings, we made breakfast together, and in the evenings, we watched movies or went for walks. Jennifer, what are you making today? Today, it's special pasta with your favorite tomato sauce. I can't wait. I'll help. Thanks, Mark. Can you make the salad? Cooking with him was always fun, and our laughter never stopped. We tried new recipes, went shopping together, and made every day fulfilling. On weekends, we would walk in the park near our home or relax at a cafe. I really love having coffee here with you, Jennifer. Me too. I feel so relaxed when I'm with you, Mark. Oh, but I like the coffee you make the best. Oh, Mark. Thank you. In the evenings, talking about our dreams and plans for the future brought us closer together. Jennifer, let's travel the world together someday. I want to visit many countries and make lots of wonderful memories. Yes. And one day, we'll build our own home and create a happy family there. Yes. Any future with you, Mark, is something to look forward to. Our newlywed life was truly a happy time for us. Surrounded by his kindness and warmth, every day was filled with new discoveries and joy. The time spent with him became the treasure of my life. The first year of our newlywed life was like a dream for us. Every day with him was fun and full of love. However, those happy days began to change little by little. It started when his mother began visiting our house frequently. Hello, Jennifer. I just came by to check in today. Hello, Mom. Please come in. At first, she visited with a smile, but gradually the frequency of her visits increased, and the reasons for her visits changed. One day, she came and asked me, Jennifer, don't you have a child with Mark yet? It's already been a year. We're looking forward to seeing our grandchild, you know? Her words shook me a bit, but I calmly replied, I'm sorry, Mom. The timing doesn't seem right yet. I see, but please hurry, okay? We're waiting. Her words became harsher day by day. Every time she visited, I felt increasing pressure. She also began to criticize my housework and cooking. Jennifer, this way of doing laundry is a bit rough. You need to be more careful. This food is a bit bland. You need to be more creative. She even started criticizing my appearance. Jennifer, isn't that outfit a bit too plain? As Mark's wife, you should dress more appropriately. Haven't you gained a little weight recently? You need to take care of your health. With her visiting more often while Mark was at work, I began to feel increasingly stressed. But I didn't want to worry him, so I kept it to myself. One day, when he came home from work, he noticed I looked tired. Jennifer, are you okay? You seem a bit down lately. Oh, yeah, I'm fine, just a bit tired. But he noticed my condition. Are you really okay? If something's wrong, please tell me. Thank you, Mark. But really, I'm fine. Even after that, his mother's visits continued, and her demands on me grew stricter. Each time she came, I completed the housework under her watchful eye, trying desperately to meet her expectations. Jennifer, the cleaning in this room is a bit sloppy. You should do it over. I'm sorry, Mom. I'll redo it right away. Despite enduring her words, I tried hard to maintain a peaceful daily life with him. However, the stress gradually began to wear on my heart. One day, when his mother came over, I felt like I had reached my limit. Jennifer. What are you lounging around for? I'm here to visit. Mom, it's my day off today. I just wanted to relax a bit. You can't relax. There's plenty of housework to be done. At that moment, I felt something snap inside me. But for his sake, I forced a smile and replied. Understood, Mom. I'll start right away. Moreover, she started to invade my privacy. She would snoop around our house and begin checking his and my belongings. Jennifer. Are you organizing these documents properly? I can't find anything important. I'm sorry, but could you please not go into my room without permission? Oh. Is there something you don't want me to see? Are you hiding something? No, it's not like that. Then there shouldn't be any problem. Her self-centered behavior was exhausting me more and more. Those days of enduring her frequent visits and harsh words continued. The stress kept piling up, and I gradually felt like I was reaching my breaking point. I wanted to talk to Mark about it, but the timing never seemed right, and I couldn't bring myself to start the conversation. One night, I decided to speak to Mark. Mark. I need to talk to you. What's wrong, Jennifer? Is something up? Actually. I've been struggling a bit with your mom." Just then, the phone rang. Mark answered it, and his expression changed drastically, his face turning pale as he told me. "My dad collapsed. We need to get to the hospital right away." "What?" We rushed to the hospital. When we arrived, his mother was crying and greeted us. "Mark, Jennifer, your father." His father had passed away suddenly from acute myocardial infarction. The suddenness of it left us in shock, speechless. "No way. Dad." His mother broke down in tears, and all I could do was cry there with her. My father-in-law was always kind and gentle, and he was important to me too. It's hard to believe he's suddenly gone. Accepting reality was very difficult. For the next few days, we were busy preparing for the funeral. "Jennifer, help with that. And please do this too." Following my mother-in-law's instructions, I hoped to ease her sadness even a little. However, her harsh attitude remained a heavy burden on my heart. "Jennifer, are you okay? Don't overdo it." "Thanks, Mark. But I have to support Mom now." After the funeral, as life without my father-in-law began, my mother-in-law started coming to our house even more frequently, and her demands on me became stricter. "Jennifer, you need to do things more properly. Take care of the house and Mark, everything." I wanted to talk to Mark, but with the grief of his father's death and taking care of his mother, it wasn't the right time. He was also busy supporting his mother. So, I continued to meet her demands amid growing stress and sadness. The significant event of my father-in-law's death brought even more challenges to our lives. "Jennifer, the cleaning in this room is still not good enough. Do it more thoroughly." "I'm sorry, Mom. I'll do it again right away." Her demands kept escalating, and my stress continued to build. One day, amidst all this, my mother-in-law came to our house and threw even harsher words at me. "Jennifer, you really can't do housework, can you? Poor Mark." "That's not true, Mom. I'm doing my best." But my words didn't reach her. She wouldn't listen to my excuses and continued with her harsh attitude. "Don't talk back to me. And how much longer do I have to wait to see my grandchild? Are you even trying?" Her words pushed me to my limit. I couldn't take it anymore, so I decided to finally talk to Mark. "Mark, I need to talk to you." "What's wrong, Jennifer? Did something happen again?" "It's about your mom. I'm really struggling. Every time she comes over, she says harsh things. I can't take it anymore." However, Mark's reaction was unexpected. "Jennifer, please try to understand my mom's feelings. She's lonely after losing Dad. Can't you bear with it a bit longer?" "But Mark, I never told you this, but even before Dad passed away, Mom would come over and criticize everything I did, even going through our room. It's really hard for me." Her words hurt me. Mark's expression turned cold at my words. "Jennifer, what Mom is saying isn't wrong. You can't do housework properly, and we don't have a child. Maybe you should reflect on yourself." I was so shocked that I couldn't speak. I never expected Mark to blame me. "Mark, what do you mean by that?" "Mom said that we can't have children because of you. We can't start a family because you're not trying hard enough." Those words left a deep scar on my heart. Not only my mother-in-law, but also Mark started blaming me, making me feel completely isolated. And his mother's interference continued, with Mark joining in. "Jennifer, you need to do a better job. You need to take care of this house properly." "Better? Properly? I'm doing my best. That's not enough. You need to listen to what Mom says and do it right." Tears began to fall from my eyes. My efforts were unrecognized, and I was only being blamed. His mother and Mark's words pushed me to the edge, and my heart was wearing thin. One night, I cried alone, thinking, if this continues, I might break. Enduring the constant attacks from his mother and Mark, I began to feel my limit approaching. every time I was criticized about housework or children, I started blaming myself, both mentally and physically exhausted. Why did it turn out like this? Sitting on the bed alone at night, I repeatedly asked myself that question. I couldn't understand why Mark was blaming me along with his mother, and my mind was in turmoil. One day, I accidentally discovered something shocking. While Mark was in the shower, I was folding laundry in the living room, and his smartphone lit up on the table. Out of curiosity, I glanced at the screen and saw a message saying, "I love you." What is this? For a moment, everything went dark, and in disbelief, I checked the message. There were numerous intimate exchanges with another woman. Mark is having an affair. My hands trembled, and I felt my heart pounding intensely. I couldn't understand what was happening and stood there in shock. There were promises of dates and declarations of love overflowing on his phone. The moment it became clear that he was betraying me, I was utterly devastated. Why is this happening? I couldn't stop crying, and I broke down on the spot. All the struggles, endurance, and stress I had endured surged at once, and I felt something inside me breaking. The harsh attitude of my mother-in-law and Mark's cold words were all overshadowed by this betrayal. After discovering the affair, I decided to investigate without letting Mark or his mother find out. First, I hired a reliable detective to follow Mark and find out where he was going and who he was meeting while claiming to be at work. The detective's reports confirmed my suspicions. Mark was frequently meeting with another woman, and they spent more time together than we did as a couple. Seeing the photos and conversation records tightened my heart, but I reminded myself to stay calm and act rationally. I decided to prepare for divorce. First, I consulted a lawyer to get legal advice. I shared all the evidence gathered from the detective and detailed my mother-in-law's behavior, starting the divorce process. The lawyer assured me that the evidence was strong enough to fight with, which gave me some relief. However, if Mark and his mother discovered my plans now, everything would be ruined. I had to act cautiously. During this time, I reviewed our finances and organized important documents, gradually preparing for independence. I separated our bank accounts, moved valuable items to a safe place, and sought help from friends. "Jennifer, it must be tough, but I'll always be here to help. Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you." Meanwhile, I maintained a normal attitude towards Mark and his mother, being careful not to raise any suspicion. I greeted his mother politely every time she visited and always showed a smile to Mark. "Jennifer, you've been working hard lately. Mom might finally acknowledge your efforts." "I hope so." But deep down, I was looking towards the approaching day of the divorce. When all preparations were complete, I planned to formally initiate the proceedings with my lawyer. Just as I was entering the final stage of my divorce preparations, an unexpected situation hit me. One day, when Mark came home from work, there was an unfamiliar woman behind him. I was frozen with surprise and confusion. "Jennifer, I need to talk to you." Mark brought the woman into the living room. She was visibly nervous. "Who is she?" "This is Karen, and she's pregnant with my child. So, I want a divorce." The moment those words reached my ears, my mind went blank. In disbelief, I stared at Mark. "What are you saying?" Suddenly, out of nowhere. "Jennifer, it's already decided. You know as well as I do that our relationship is beyond repair." At that moment, his mother appeared from behind them. With a cold expression, she said to me, "Jennifer, accept Mark's decision. There's no point in you staying together any longer." Ignoring my reaction, she continued, "It's because you can't have children that Mark suffered. He needs a new family." Then Mark smirked and added, "Get out, you infertile defect." His words were the final blow for me. I decided I didn't need to show any mercy to them. Taking a deep breath, I replied calmly, "All right, Mark. I accept your decision. But we need to properly discuss the division of assets and alimony. That's my condition." Mark and his mother looked surprised, but eventually, Mark nodded. Fine, that works. I left the room and went back to my own. The next day, I contacted my lawyer and proceeded with the discussions with Mark and his mother. After discovering Mark's affair, I planned to use it to secure substantial alimony and divorce him. However, since he said, "I want a divorce due to Karen's pregnancy and am willing to negotiate," it seemed that the evidence I had gathered wouldn't be necessary. After confirming the alimony payments and finalizing the divorce, I visited our former home to collect my belongings. This is the end of everything. Let's go our separate ways from now on. Mark and his mother looked relieved. Especially Mark, who had a look of unquestionable belief that this was the beginning of his new life. "Thank you, Jennifer. Now I can make a fresh start." His mother nodded in satisfaction. "Well, it just means you and Mark weren't a good match. Now, the four of us can build a new family together." Karen smiled happily. "I'm looking forward to raising this child with Mark. Yeah, I'm finally gonna be a father. I'll work harder than ever before." Watching them talk happily, I took a deep breath and smiled quietly. "Heh, you're more forgiving than I thought. Are you planning to be a father? Even though it's not your child?" The room fell silent for a moment. Mark looked shocked and suspicious, and his mother stared at me with wide eyes. Karen turned pale, her face changing color instantly. "What do you mean? The child Karen is pregnant with isn't yours, Mark." "What? That's impossible." "The truth is, I found out about your affair a while ago. So, while investigating Mark's activities to initiate the divorce first, I discovered that Karen was also involved with another man. That child is his, not yours." His mother, with a look of disbelief, demanded, "That's impossible. Do you have any proof?" "Yes, here is the evidence," I said, handing her the detective's report. Mark opened the document with trembling hands, and his mother peered at it from the side. Then their expressions changed to a mix of despair and anger. "What is this, Karen? Who is this man? Explain yourself, Karen." I only love Mark. I don't know this person." She tried to deny it, but there was plenty of evidence of her affair. As I laid out the photos on the table, she screamed, "Stop it," and covered them with her body. "If you're not having an affair, there's no need to hide it, right?" Well, Her actions were as good as a confession. Mark pulled her away from the table while his mother glared at her and cursed. You were deceiving me. Move aside. I can't believe this." Cornered, Karen finally admitted to the affair but stubbornly insisted the child was Mark's. "This child is definitely yours. You wanted a child, didn't you? So let's welcome this child and live happily as a family of four." Amazingly, Mark and his mother started to accept this plea. Well, that's true. Our relationship did start with an affair, and Karen is beautiful and charming, so it's only natural she'd attract men. I'm sure if the mother is as beautiful as Karen, the child will be adorable too. I was stunned by their lack of sense, but knew I had to deliver one final blow. At this point, I finally got to the main point. "I know you want to turn a blind eye, but let me leave you with this." I said that and handed over a certain document. "The truth is, I knew from the beginning of our marriage that you, Mark, couldn't have children. I thought it might be stress from being harassed by your mother, but it was too much, so we both got fertility tests. The result is..." Mark and his mother looked down at the document in shock. "Mark, how could you?" I'm infertile?" "Yes, as it says there, Mark's body cannot possibly produce children." "No way, that can't be true. I had it thoroughly checked, so this is the truth. Please accept it." "Are you kidding me? Why did you keep such an important thing a secret until now?" "It was all for revenge, of course. I didn't think I should tell you until the alimony and asset division were settled. Taking everything and leaving you with nothing, that's my revenge. You might have bet on the chance that the child could be yours, but it's 100% not yours. That's why I asked if you were planning to become the father of another man's child. Mark stood up, shouting, "That can't be true." Karen covered her face and broke down crying, while his mother slumped into a chair, staring at me in shock. No matter how much you deny it, this is the truth. This is my parting gift to you. How did it feel to betray and hurt me? Enjoy your new family of 4. With those final words, I stood up, turned my back on them, and walked out of the house. As I breathed in the fresh air outside, I felt a huge weight lift off my shoulders. Mark found out that Karen's child wasn't his and immediately cut ties with her. Karen, too, was abandoned by the real father of the child once he learned the truth and ended up alone. Mark's affair scandal spread throughout his workplace. His reputation plummeted, and any chances of promotion were gone. Mark had to pay me a lump sum in alimony, leaving him with almost no savings. Under the cold stares of his superiors and colleagues, he had no choice but to continue working there, feeling the full weight of his mistakes. Unable to pay rent, Mark decided to move back in with his mother. However, they constantly blamed each other and fought. "It's all your fault, Mom. If you hadn't been so harsh on Jennifer, none of this would have happened." His mother, shocked, retorted angrily. "What are you talking about? Mark, take responsibility for your own actions." "But it's because you kept bullying Jennifer that our relationship fell apart." Their relationship deteriorated beyond repair. They couldn't talk without starting a fight, and the house was always filled with a heavy atmosphere. His mother couldn't live comfortably on her pension, and with Mark's reduced income and lack of savings, they had no choice but to live together despite their animosity. Meanwhile, I was preparing to start a new life. New hope and determination were growing within me. From now on, I would live for myself. I believed that beyond the suffering of the past, a new future awaited me.